Oh, hey there, team. I didn't see you there. Welcome to a very special episode of ScienceSideUp that I'm tentatively calling Times My Uber Driver Explains My Job to Me. Look, I don't normally do review videos or reviews of other people's videos, but I found this one. Unfortunately, I don't have footage of my Uber driver explaining my job to me or telling me that women aren't good at science. But I did find a video of someone else saying that women aren't good at science, and so I thought we would take a look at it together, right? And get some laughs. So we're gonna take this exactly as seriously as it deserves. Exactly as seriously as this deserves. I found a video. It's a few years old, but makes the same points. No, this is soap just dripping down my arm. But you know what? I'm doing it for you guys. I'm doing it for the bit. I'm committing. I'm gonna be really sad if you can't see the bubbles. I found through the American Enterprise Institute's YouTube page, the Factual Feminist. Let's just dive into this together, shall we?
Everywhere we hear about massive gender bias against women in fields like physics, technology, engineering. Well, what if it's just not true?
It's definitely true.
There's a class at Harvard University called Math 55, which is advertised in the catalog as probably the most difficult undergraduate math course in the country.
As a holder of a math degree from MIT, I take offense at that. There is no way a class at Harvard in math is more difficult than my math classes at MIT. If you were unaware, there's an entirely one-sided extreme bias of MIT against Harvard. MIT undergrads do not like Harvard undergrads.
Math 55 does not look like America. Each year, as many as 50 students sign up, but at least half drop out within a few weeks.
The math on that board was not difficult.
In 2006, the final roster was 45% Jewish, 18% Asian, 100% male.
This is a sample size of 25 people at Harvard who have to take this math class for their degree. That's not a good sample size, right? I don't know why we're using this as an example. And this is back when Harvard's own president, there was a whole shenanigans about Harvard's president saying out loud that like, oh no, I'm losing my fez. He didn't say that. He said that like women aren't as good as men at math and science. Love it. That's totally a supportive environment where people are gonna flourish. Yeah.
Well, as a rule, women tend to gravitate to fields such as education, English, psychology, biology, art history, while men are more numerous in physics, mathematics, computer science, and engineering.
I'm not quite sure where she got that infographic from, but it is pretty close to other infographics I've seen, though the math numbers are actually better in that graphic than what I've seen. The last time, like, when I was an undergrad, which is half a minute ago now, if you looked at like professional female mathematicians made up less than 10% of the field. It's a little better in engineering. It is a lot better in life science. If you look at people who become like medical doctors, that's about 50-50 these days. Same with lawyers. So there are fields where it's like 50-50, as it should be. And there are also fields that are still like really female dominated because of stereotypes against men, like nursing.
Why should that be? Well, there's no simple answer. But when professors were asked why there was a relative scarcity of female professors in math, science, and engineering.
Okay, I want you to listen really carefully to what she said as I refill my bubble pipe. Professors in those fields were asked why there weren't a lot of women. So if we're taking her numbers for math, let's say it was the math department, that means that by her own numbers, 87% of the people that they asked about why there aren't women more women in the field were men and only 13% were women. And so if you want to know, maybe a better question would be to go to women in that field and ask them, hey, what makes it hard? Or go to women who started in that field and then dropped out, right? Not the, my hair, I tried to do a top knot so that the fez would go over it. Let's try again. Okay. So the people asked, right, aren't unbiased and aren't necessarily the individuals who are like experiencing problems in the field. And the people that you're asking may very well be the people who are perpetuating problems knowingly or unknowingly. This is not a good study. This is not a good group of people to ask.
1% believed that it was because of women's lack of talent. 24% believed that it was because of sexist discrimination, and 74% chalked it up to differences between men's and women's interests. Well, let's delve into each of these explanations. 1% said scarcity of talent. I'm surprised anyone agreed with that, even to a pollster. These days, it's politically radioactive to deny that everyone is good at everything and no one is better than anyone else.
We're just gonna pause and embrace the beauty of that straw man, right? Everyone isn't good at everything. Do you wanna know what I definitely can't do? I definitely can't clean a carburetor. I know what a carburetor is. I've tried to clean one. It went poorly, right? Other things I can't do, spell.
Well, consider this inconvenient finding. According to an analysis performed by my colleague Mark Perry, for every 100 girls who score 700 points or higher on the math section of the SAT, 184 boys do the same.
That study about SAT performance, right? Now, SAT, remember, this is juniors and seniors in high school. If you're going to use that as a metric for girls are not as good as boys at math, then you're making the assumption that for the first 17 years of all of those kids' lives, they have had equal encouragement into math and science, equal opportunities to pursue math and science, the same types of social pressures. I mean, I don't remember how old I was the first time somebody told me that girls aren't supposed to be good at math, right? But I was very little. And thanks, Mom. Hi, Mom, for helping me realize that those people are idiots because I am very good at math and being a girl has nothing to do with it.
So let's move to the second possibility, sexist discrimination. I mean, this is hugely popular in the women's lobby. Over the past decade or so, there has been an avalanche of literature claiming that women face hostile environments in math, tech, and engineering programs. Well, here's the first problem with all this. Why is there so much alleged discrimination in math and engineering, but not in biology, agriculture, veterinary medicine, law?
Why is there not as much discrimination in fields where women make up higher percentages? I wonder if that has something to do with the fact that women make up higher percentages.
There are indeed many studies that purport to show bias against women. But when anyone outside the STEM equity universe reviews them, they turn out to be flawed or sometimes shamelessly slanted.
Citation needed.
So let's turn to a third possibility, different interests. There's a lot of evidence that men and women, taken as groups, have somewhat different propensities, aspirations. Women earn more PhDs than men in the humanities, social sciences, education, life sciences. But men prevail by large numbers in engineering, physics, computer science.
Computer science, in its early days, like in the 70s, was 100% female, and now it's less than a quarter female. Right? So what changed about men versus women? I will get you a citation for that. Sorry, that's a fact I carry around in my head. But I'll get you a citation. It'll be in the links below. Yeah. So what's changed between women's interests in the last 30 years, 40 years? I don't know how long ago 1970 was.
When asked on a vocational preference test How would you prefer to spend your time? More men than women say they would enjoy manipulating tools or taking part a machine. Women are more likely to say they'd prefer to work with people or living things.
So first of all, people are terrible, right? I don't like them. I love taking things apart. And I get that the response to this is like, oh, but it's just generalities. So here's my question. For that study, whatever that was that she just talked about, how old were the people, right? Are these like kids? It's real hard to like tell a 6-year-old that they can't be a fireman, ballerina, astronaut when they grow up, right? So how old were the people when they took these tests, and what social pressures potentially contribute to it? I'm not saying that you won't come to the same conclusion, but like that's not a well-designed study, at least the way she presented it. It's absolutely possible to design a study to get the answers that you want. A good and reputable scientist, and frankly a good and reputable journal that would be taking the paper based off of that study, would ask those questions, right? How did you ensure that, you weren't biasing your data?
And finally, one last intriguing finding. Male and female math prodigies, they differ in a significant way. Males are more likely to have what the experts call an asymmetrical cognitive profile. That means that their proficiency at math is not accompanied by a proficiency in verbal expression. On the other hand, females who are gifted in math are often just as gifted in verbal expression.
Okay, I'm just gonna stop her right there because, again, she doesn't cite a study. I can't look it up, so she could just be making things up. I don't know. You don't know. There's no study cited in the bottom of the video. If you really want to finish this thing out, I will link her original video down in the bottom because I am a good kid who cites sources. And frankly, look, this made me mad. This video makes me mad because I'm really tired of people telling me why I shouldn't be good at what I'm really good at. I'm sorry, that sounds like I'm bragging. I don't mean to brag, but like I'm good at math and science, and I'm not the exception, right? I really am not. And women have been doing science forever, right? They really have. So, Uber drivers of the world, please stop explaining my job to me. All right, team. You guys are cool. I hope you enjoyed this video. Cite your sources. Don't design biased studies, and don't present clearly biased studies as evidence. And if people do, then take them exactly as seriously as they deserve. We're under self-quarantine. My university is closed. I'm trapped in my house and bored, and I just went to the thrift store and found a bunch of kids' science toys. So we're gonna have a little bit of fun. So you should be getting some more content for me than normal, as I am trapped in my house. Everybody stay safe, right? Quarantine measures, if they work right, they will seem like an overreaction. Let's all be good citizens and try to take care of the most vulnerable in our population, and watch YouTube. Okay. I'll see you next time. Bye, team.